Now, when it comes to Kendrick Lamar, the time for all the whining and complaining from Drake and all of the other people a part of the biggest clown show in hip hop is over, because as Kendrick just started off his grand national tour, we can officially say that the current king of hip hop did not just further solidify this title with everything he did, but from once again elevating live rapping like we have never seen, to dissing and calling out Drake in his ridiculous lawsuit, to proving every single narrative Drake and his guys have been trying to say about.
And I have to go back to Kendrick Lamar and his artistry. Just look at, not only look at the crowd, but this is a stadium. And I've always made the complaint, even during my phase as a Drake fan, it's like, cool, you're the biggest pop star in the world. Why are you not doing stadiums? Why can you not do stadiums? Why is your performances the way they are? Why are you still getting all the money? You have the biggest budget and you still cannot perform at the level of a Beyonce, the level of a Michael Jackson, a Prince, a Freddie Mercury, a Stevie Wonder, a Kendrick Lamar, even Kanye. That's always been one of my biggest complaints for Drake. And I hate to make this about Drake, but we have to. We have to, especially when we look at the top two of this generation. So even going back to the way that Drake treats his fans, imagine if Kendrick Lamar canceled his tour the same exact way Drake canceled his tour. So Drake, he canceled his tour and went to a WWE event. Imagine Kendrick doing that to his fans. Not only that, he canceled the tour, postponed based off scheduling conflicts that he created. Then he started streaming. This is crazy. So understand, goes back to not just this is being verbal. Kendrick has been quiet this entire time. Just his presence, just his actions are showing the clear and obvious difference between Kendrick, his energy, and the people he attracts, and Drake's fan base, his energy, his aura. Look at what they attract. Look at the 5 people they hang around them. Like I always say, you are the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. But let me go ahead and keep going. I'm talking too much.
About him and this tour to be more than wrong. Altogether, and in every sense of the word, Kendrick Lamar has managed to raise the bar more than we have ever seen. And making things even better, Kendrick isn't just holding that crown higher than he ever has, but he has really never pushed down and humiliated Drake any further, as he is really now showing how little he respects this guy for his lawsuit. And now, before we go any further into all of this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and now as what we have just seen as rap fans really just started off the next era for Kendrick Lamar, and there is going to be a lot more to come here, really be sure to leave that like and subscribe so that all of hip-hop can see one of the greatest runs we have ever seen from an artist just reach new levels. And so now with that said, right now with Kendrick Lamar, I mean, there is nothing better than seeing somebody who, despite winning so much and already having so much success, just keep pushing everything they are doing to new levels and continue to find ways to blow us all away. Because with night 1 of Kendrick's Grand National Tour, from every single detail about this show possible, that is exactly what happened. And now, even before Kendrick's actual performance itself, as of course, leading up to this tour, there were narratives coming out from Drake's side of things that were trying to push this false idea that it was not selling. After that, and all of the issues that Drake OVO.
And not only that, going back to the issues of K-Bots, he really thought that Kendrick Lamar didn't have true love and support. It's projection. So when you go back and understand throughout this beef, Kendrick has already told you that OVO has a mole. And it just goes back to, like I said earlier, about the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. Drake has to pay for all of his friends. Going back to his childhood, his relationship with his father is iffy. The relationships that he has with his mother is iffy. Not only that, he's an only child, so you add up these ingredients to create this recipe of a man that's constantly needing love and affection. He needs that support that he never had, and he's constantly craving that. That's the reason why he does what he does, is all a reflection. I appreciate you, Jimmy Clown.
You're very intelligent. I love your channel.
Appreciate you. Hey, and going back to, like I said, Drake and his upbringing, it's a direct reflection of his music, of his art. He has no idea who he is. So he has to reflect that by mimicking what he sees. He has the Memphis sound. He has the Atlanta sound. He has of course, the colonizer claims. So even going back to Nokia in the music video, him attempting to mimic Kendrick's visual aesthetic, it doesn't work because he doesn't understand the visual aesthetic of Kendrick is Kendrick because it's genuine, it's authentic. It's not a lot of camera cuts, a lot of special effects involved with Kendrick because his style is authentic. It's minimal. As above, so below. As within, so without. Within Kendrick, it's authenticity. It's real. It's soul. So it doesn't need to have much. It's simple. It's not theatrical. It gets to the point. It's optimized. With Drake, him attempting to mimic that, it just looks like cosplay because it's not real. It's not real, and he doesn't understand the energy behind it or the frequency. And people like Drake or the people he hangs around, the DJ Academics, the Andrew Schultz, they're the people who are anti-woke. They'll sit back and complain about being woke without understanding being woke is extremely shallow. It's low-key an oxymoron. It's just being woke is about being aware. It's simple. See, going back to thinking that being woke is this type of disease or it's like this type of insult. It's really just consciously being aware of your subconscious. Being aware. So they're trying to make lack of reading or a lack of emotional intelligence seem cool, make it seem saucy. The same way he tried to make Give Me a Hug look saucy. He tried to make this incel culture look good. And that's low key, that's Drake's entire aesthetic. But let me get on to it, man.
Yo, and the clown show who follows these guys were trying to say over and over to discredit Kendrick and help their guy. Well, I mean, just making Kendrick's success even better. The spiraling we are seeing from this side of hip-hop could never be worse, because with how successful this show was from Kendrick, and again, this is only night one, so it's only gonna get better from here. These guys literally resorted to posting pictures of the seats when the arena opened to try and say that nobody was going and that Kendrick Lamar is not gonna be able to pull off this tour. And I mean, nobody believed this whatsoever, and they are already getting made fun of for trying to just lie on Kendrick's name once again. And especially now with this show officially being labeled a sellout, which now officially marks Kendrick Lamar moving 50,000 tickets in a single show, which is something that Drake has never done here. I mean, from all of that, which is just redefining the boundaries in rap like we have seen.
Hey, I got to stop it one more time, man. This goes back to jealousy. Remember when Drake was saying, numbers-wise, we're out of here. You're not keeping up. You're not catching up. That's always been Drake's thing. Numbers. Tension. So that's the reason why he constantly compares himself to the Beatles and Michael Jackson. It's purely physical. It has nothing to do with the quality of music, the quality of artwork, or what you're actually creating. He's always comparing himself to the amount of attention he can receive. Oh, man. I don't know where that came from. But like I said, going back to his childhood upbringing, as above, so below. As within, so without. That's what's within him. So that's the art he has to create. That's the frequency he has to create from. Now, I always got to go back to the nervous system and how our brains operate. It doesn't matter if you're a Christian and atheist. You could be the most religious person in the world. I appreciate you, Karen. Shout out to UK.
UK, Great Britain emoji, here.
Hey, shout out to UK, man. Appreciate y'all. But what I'm saying? Oh yeah, going back to the nervous system. I always keep repeating this because it's extremely important. Understanding the power of the subconscious. Going back to understanding how you can dream like you're falling down and you feel like you're falling down. Or you think about your favorite food and your mouth starts to water. Or you can watch explicit content on Instagram and if you're a man, your body starts to respond. If you're a woman, your body starts to respond. You can just think these thoughts. If you're an athlete, you heard the phrase mind-body connection. These things are extremely important. If anything, this is how, hell, the most important thing on earth. It's how our entire reality is based on. Understand that as black people, we were enslaved all because people denied us the ability to access our own subconscious. They denied us the right to read. That's the reason why throughout history, women were not allowed to read. It's a power play. It's a manipulation tactic. The people like DJ Academics, people like Drake, and the people that they hang around, the Andrew Tates. That's the reason why they are getting caught up in these situations, in these cases, because understand, it's all about power. Power. That's the only thing they care about. And if you can deny someone access to their own subconscious, allow them the inability to read, then you can control an entire population just by raising your level of consciousness and making sure that everyone else stays beneath you. So once again, going back to Kendrick and Drake being more than just a rap battle, Kendrick was just the medium. He's just the curator of the conversations that we as a people are having. We've already went through an entire 2020 pandemic where we had nothing but time to sit alone with our own thoughts. And people have went through a lot. Understand, even going back to the school shootings that we keep going, that we see every single day pop up on our timelines. We're traumatized, man, as a people. We're looking for answers. And understand, even going back to the economic situations, we're struggling, man, as a people. So I always bring up the Netflix documentary called How to Start a Cult. And it just stems on academics and his audience and Drake and his audience and why they keep changing their target demographic. Because they need people that are weaker than them. Because then if you're weaker, you're moving out of desperation. You're looking for people like Drake and academics who have money, power to give you comfort and security. Because most of these people that they're looking for, they've never felt that before. It's almost on that Peter Pan syndrome and the Lost Boys. Like, if you understand the original story of Peter Pan was not a good guy. Peter Pan was low-key evil. He was literally kidnapping these lost boys. So, yeah, going back to the Pied Piper situation with R. Kelly. That's the reason why Aubrey Kelly is a nickname for Drake. But let's keep it going, man.
To the pictures and moments we can all see where the crowd was clearly filled up and everyone was waiting to see what Kendrick has to do. I mean, really, with one of the biggest gatherings in hip-hop ever, and we can all see that so clearly. It's already obvious that already on night one, Team Drake and OVO got nothing to run with here and to try and take down Kendrick with, and because of how good this all is and how this is all working out for Kendrick, I mean, if you thought all the winning Kendrick already doing was gonna be bad, this is really gonna be a long tour for them, because once again, continuing the story of this chapter from Kendrick and GNX, Kendrick continues to stay within this moment and make these performances a response to what is happening in rap right now. And specifically with this, what Kendrick ends up calling out is what Drake is still trying to do with everything about this beef, from his sneak disses to his suit. And now as Drake is getting more petty and pathetic at the same time, Kendrick showed him that no matter what he does and how he tries to change the outcome of what has happened, as Drake is whining, complaining, and writing papers, Kendrick is just going to keep on running laps around him and show him that no matter what, he is not just the king of hip-hop, but that he is going to make sure that every single person knows that Drake didn't just lose the beef and get humiliated in an all-time fashion, but because of his own choices to take things this far and file a suit over a genre-shifting diss song. Drake is the sheer embodiment of what everything hip-hop needs to be against. And now Kendrick did this by making the visuals and the presentation between songs not just humiliate Drake within a setting like we have never seen, but also create a moment where Kendrick can send him so many different messages, because literally as this show started about the same day as Push Ups was officially released, just in terms of that, Kendrick has brought this beef full circle by making a new video and intro that he played before performing Not Like Us this time around, where he is making fun of Drake's lawsuit and all of the awful choices the guy made to try and push Kendrick Lamar to get him to diss him over and over again. And now Kendrick Lamar did this by creating a whole interview where he is in a literal deposition, which of course just plays into the suit so perfectly. And the guy is asking about all of the events.
And that's what's so dangerous about Kendrick. Like, Drake, he has no idea that he's dealing with an artist. This is crazy. Like, I have no idea why Drake fans truly believed that they were going to win this. Once again, going back to their mindset, their internal dialogue is directly connected to your energy. It's directly connected to what you attract. Like I said, you are the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. So Drake's audience thinks just like Drake. They like this bully mentality where they intentionally sign up for situations that they know for a fact they're going to win. This is not just predatory behavior when it comes to relationships. This comes to everything that they do. This is part of who they are. As within, so without. So they truly believe that Kendrick, he's from Compton, he's dark skinned, he's short, he looks like an elf. They have these middle school insults. And they truly believe that will work on a grown man. Understand how immature they think. Even going back to the Instagram situation where Whitney wasn't following Kendrick. And these thoughts only happen to children. Or, like I said, I keep bringing up Drake's situation. He's never experienced happy marriages, happy relationships. He truly believes these Instagram relationships are real. You can tell he's perpetually online. And going back to his chess moves, that's one of the biggest issues. He won't put the phone down. So it's funny that Kendrick has this deposition because when UMG warned Drake, it's like, homie, we can also check and ask things for you. So I remember I was doing my interview with Apps of fucking Lootly, and she asked me, what are 5 things that you would ask for from Drake if you were UMG's lawyers? And one of the things I would ask for is those DMs. Not only that, I remember Rob Markman, he just sent out a tweet saying, let me look it up specifically. Oh, here it is. I already got it pulled up. It says, imagine your favorite rapper secretly owned one of these hip-hop news accounts on here and was just using it to pump info. Nah, that's crazy talk, right? So once again, if I'm UMG, I need to see them DMs. I need to see that bankroll. I need to see who you're sending money to. Because I can honestly believe that. We've been seeing it. Like, I've been peeped this. And that's the reason why UMG is warning Drake. It's like, bro, we see you. These lies and these deceptive tactics, they work on your fan bases. And it works on the people that you're paying. And it works on the women that you're attempting to manipulate. It doesn't work on grown adults, bro. Come on, man. We got grown men trying to act like Jezebels. Trying to act like sirens. Grown men. That's crazy.
Of how we got here in the first place, which in of itself, responding to the paperwork and the place that Drake is taking things is already a genius move, because even in his art, Kendrick is creating the literal response to what is going to happen. But even again, adding another layer and entendre, as this itself has the same framing of this iconic Lil Wayne interview, which definitely, just with the angles and how Kendrick looks, it seems to be like he is echoing Wayne and this entire moment. I mean, all of this is so genius already. And so now in this moment where Kendrick is being reminded of the events of the beef, and the interviewer asks him where he was on certain dates that have been involved in this genre-changing era, as Kendrick says he doesn't remember what happened on these dates, and then the interview asks him if a certain phrase rings a bell. You see what Kendrick is trying to do here, and it really is the ultimate way to just humiliate Drake and make a funny joke. As the man repeats the phrase drop, 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 drop over and over again, which is a clear reference to both the end of Push-Ups and the start of Family Matters, of course, with Kendrick Lamar making...
And also, this just goes back to Drake being anti-hip-hop. Especially with the entire snitch thing. It's like, bro, Drake loves claiming the K-bots and claiming that they're faking streams and things like that. But Drake, people have been saying these things about you. People have been calling Drake an industry plant since he signed with Lil Wayne. Like, understand, you signed to the greatest rapper of all time, of his time period. I'll say that. I'll say, like, I'm gonna say he's the GOAT, but he has there was a point where Lil Wayne had that argument. Lil Wayne is Lil Wayne, man. So understand, if you're directly signed to Lil Wayne, Young Money, like, he had an extreme push. He had a huge budget. Drake came in pop star. That's crazy, man.
This is the intro for how he is introducing Not Like Us as a song into this era and set of shows. He is once again showing how Drake keeps giving this song more and more reasons to be played, and by doing this, he is reminding Drake that no matter what he is trying to say, and no matter what image and lies he is trying to create and get across to take down this record, and also Kendrick Lamar indirectly. At the end of the day, Drake is the one who brought the beef to this place, and who was asking for Kendrick Lamar to release music like this over and over again, and that's exactly what he did. And so with Kendrick Lamar doing this on his tour, this just shows how much of a perfect and genius storyteller he really is. Because for you to somehow naturally introduce a track like that to the audience and at the same time dish your rival and embarrass him to the people by reminding everyone of what he wanted, and again, just like the Super Bowl, it does this amazing job of calling out Drake for the ultimate hypocrite and liar of who he is. I mean, overall, when you put this together, in terms of disses and storytelling, Kendrick is playing chess on a level that most people can't even understand. Now, as Kendrick played this song and did this intro where he once again was just able to humiliate Drake in such a clever way, which spoke to literally every single thing they are involved in right now. And now because Drake at least got mentioned here, his fans are trying to say that Kendrick needs to mention Drake's name to have a career because that's the only angle they still can run with, although of course we know that's not true. I mean, first off, as Kendrick was able to perform 30 plus entire songs in a stadium setting, we know that that is not just the furthest thing from the truth. But now even beyond that, Drake created his own luck here and made himself reach a point.
And just thinking about that, just looking at that video footage from the concert, it just shows that Kendrick Lamar is still so cultured. He's still so black. Even at his Super Bowl moment, even when he's on a stadium tour, it's still culture, it's still hip hop. And it just goes to show, man, it's the people. It's the people. Drake truly believes, well, I could just convince you. I could just manipulate you. That's not how things work, man. It just goes back to your philosophy and your internal dialogue. Once again, going back to the people that Drake attracts. He goes and he attracts an audience that wants to be manipulated. They need that external stimulation. Kendrick, he attracts people that have, who understand who they are. So when we look at Kendrick, we're not looking for external stimulation. This is already who we are. This is who we are. You vibrate and you receive what you are. So for Kendrick, it's more like holding up a mirror, right? He's attracting scholars. He's attracting a certain energy that can afford to go to these stadium tours. Drake's fans are children. Once again, they can't afford a stadium tour. Of course, they can get you your likes, your views. No different than a Sexy Red or Ice Spice, but are people actually going to spend money on you? And that's the biggest difference. Once you keep getting your audience getting younger and younger, cool. It looks really cool online because they have time to spend online. Grown adults don't have time to spend online. We spend money on things we value. And grown adults, we don't value Drake anymore because he's not putting on a show that has dancers and performances and the pyro. He's going up doing karaoke, lip syncing. Nah, I don't want that. I ain't paying for that. In this economy, crazy.
Where even after losing the way he did, and again, if this was just left to music, this thing would have been over. He is still getting humiliated this bad just by the visuals and intro videos to set up the songs playing on this tour because of what he has done. And once again, just making sure from Kendrick that Drake is forever looked down upon for every wrong choice he has made and that he is just clowned for disrespecting hip-hop the way he has. Kendrick continued to not let up on him, as whether it was performing Euphoria in this show as well. Which even there, Kendrick continued to change and bend lines, which sounded even better live here than ever, and Kendrick made sure to include every single humiliating moment where he called out Drake here in of itself, to even Kendrick trolling and showing that he can do the whole petty thing better than Drake ever could by performing tracks like Poetic Justice, which is of course Kendrick and Drake's song where Kendrick is the leading collaborator. And even with SZA performing RBD from For All the Dogs, this was just another hilarious way to troll Drake within a manner by showing that they are the stars from these songs and that just from performing their parts of these records, they will manage to not just erase Drake from hip-hop and even his own music in some senses, but that they will continue to put everyone around Drake in absolute shambles, as these artists just show how unbothered they are while they perform these songs that are directly with the guy who wants their runs to be over more than anything else. And now with Kendrick Lamar just putting together all of these disses within this show and still creating an experience that is so much bigger than it, with so much happening and Kendrick literally shutting down every narrative that Drake and OVO were going to try and use to ruin this genre-changing moment on the literal opening night of this thing, I mean, now seeing how much they failed in every single aspect, it is really going to be an awful time for these guys going forward, because while the rest of us are enjoying Kendrick, SZA, and Mustard do absolutely unreal things with this show, like with Kendrick and SZA doing over 50 songs in a single set, everyone on the other side of things is going to have to act like this is not just bad, but they're going to have to try and hype up whatever ridiculous things and antics Drake is doing, because that's all he is giving you right now, and that's all he is locked in with. And now when
And once again, going back to them having to hype things up. Like I just said, Drake, he has hip hop platforms that are on his payroll. You saw the tweet that by Rob Markman. Not only that, Drake, he has relationships. He's extremely smart with his branding and understand he reached the 48 laws of power. He knows exactly how to build relationships, dog. And that's his biggest thing. Drake, he's a hip hop politician. He knows how to move. He's extremely socially intelligent. He knows how to work a room. He knows how to talk to people. He knows how to communicate. But understand this is not politics. You can't use relationships to convince people that your music is amazing. He does not decide that. The people decide that. And people have been saying throughout this entire beef, his biggest flaw, his worst chess move was going against black women. That's his biggest thing because, number one, that's what his entire audience was based off. His entire career is based off being that almost virtual boyfriend type thing. Like, and now he has switched his entire demographic entirely. Once again, to trying to impress Andrew Schultz, Aiden Ross, the Andrew Tates, DJ Academics, Kanye. That's his audience now. So he went against Rihanna, Beyonce, Meg Thee Stallion, SZA, Serena, and he thought black women were going to be on his side. That's crazy. Once again, going back to the relationships with women. Like, y'all, I keep mentioning the necklace that he had from all the engagement rings. It's like he has that weird give me a hug energy. And he wants to try to brand give me a hug like it's a good thing. This is crazy, man.
We see that during the anniversary of when this beef really started and the diss track started to come out, Drake and his fans are focusing on all the paperwork and claims that he is making, and are trying to just argue about what we all saw and what actually happened in the most baseless way. And at the same time, Kendrick fans are enjoying the guy on a tour like we have never seen, where just based off the first show, he is upping his skills as an MC and live performer like we have never seen before. I mean, it has never been more clear that there are just levels to all of this, and you have never been able to see easier who is the winner in all of this. And so now with us being at this point, and again, when it comes to Kendrick Lamar throwing these disses between a set that celebrates this entire era in his career and the greater picture, he is really letting Drake know that he should quit now, because with things already being this bad for him, what Kendrick is really starting to show here is that he can still take things even further and make sure that everyone knows the full truth and story of what's going on, and as a result, everybody sees how big of a hypocrite he is. And so as we are seeing this with this entire tour and what's going down, I think it's clear to say that as all of this goes forward, it's only going to play a bigger role between what Kendrick Lamar is trying to do and the message and story he is trying to create. Because again, with this entire Grand National Tour, it's not just giving us a regular live performance, but it is answering to every single doubt and diss that Drake and his guys are trying to use against Kendrick. And so with this, and I mean, if all of this only happened on night one and Kendrick was able to make things this exciting, well, it's more than clear to say that as this tour goes on, things are only going to go up from here, and really we are only going to see more legendary moments for Kendrick Lamar and everyone on his side of things. And of course, now as we see Kendrick just keep leveling up and up, and again, just call out Drake and show that they are nowhere near the same level, and that Drake at the end of the day is the one who created every single problem going on, both in terms of how the fans feel and with all of the paperwork that he is trying to push. I mean, somehow, and even again while performing, Kendrick is managing to not just expand his mission as an artist, but he also has came one step closer to ending all of this ridiculous stuff Drake's doing once and for all. And so now with all this said, let me know, what do you think of the
I appreciate Fantastic Hip Hop for that, for sure.